What's up, everybody? Welcome to Smokin' Weed and Talkin' MMA. I am Jarrod. I'm here with my co-host, Paul.
What up?
We are coming to you from the fight capital of the world and the weediest city around, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is episode number 31. Our main topics today are going to be TJ Dillashaw and the fallout that his drug test has caused two divisions. We're going to take a look at UFC Nashville's amazing main event, Anthony Pettis' crazy knockout. We'll take a look ahead to UFC Philly with Edson Barboza and Justin Gaethje, sure to bring a good fight. We'll have our Fighter Who Smokes segment, and as always, we're going to start with our Weed of the Week.
Smoke weed every day.
What are we smoking on today, Paul? What you got in that pen over there?
I've got this Melon Rec made by Moxie.
Melon Rec. Well, it sounded like quite a mix of different indicas went into that strain from what you
Can't
were
remember
saying.
exactly all of them. It was ridiculous.
That was a ridiculous.
It was literally, it's all full. It's 4 different indicas. So obviously, an indica itself.
That's a nice fruity vape pen. I like it. It's pretty smooth.
Yeah,
Moxie uses MCT oil in theirs, which is kind of cool. I like that.
It's 87%. Got 2.5% CBG, which we were talking about. We still don't really know what it is.
That's something I have not heard of. There's all kinds of new shit coming out. Like last week we had the HHC.
Yeah.
You know.
And then 3% CBN also.
Nice. CBN makes you sleepy, folks, if you haven't heard about that.
Yeah, so if I fall asleep halfway through the podcast, you know
It's going to
why.
be because you're hitting that heavy pen over there. We got some flour we're smoking on today, too. We got a nice orange cookies strain. We got a joint of that. Orange cookies is orange juice crossed with Girl Scout cookies, which makes sense by the name. And we've got another one called Sugar Cookie, which you would think might be in that Girl Scout cookies family, but it's not. This is actually a three-way cross of Crystal Gale, Blue Hawaiian, and Sensi Star. We got that layered in with some miscellaneous keef out of my grinder in this pipe here.
There we go.
All kinds of good shit this morning. You want to fire up that joint?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah. I actually haven't had this one before. I thought it might just be a rebranded Tropicana cookies, but it's not.
Yeah.
Tropicana cookies is a different. So that was cool because I haven't had this before. I've actually seen it in the dispensaries, and I just avoided it because I thought it was the Tropicana that I've already been smoking on. Dude, I can smell that orange right now. That's how strong those terpenes are. Said it was a super fruity strain. I haven't tried the straight orange juice strain either. Like, there's a company out here called Cannabiotics, which makes a strain called L'Orange, which is one of their house strains, which is just crazy orange flavor, too. Yeah, dude, even that smoke smells fucking fruity over here. The thing I notice sometimes out here when you buy these pre-rolls...
Packed a little tight.
Yeah, I was just going to take the words right out of my mouth, dude. A lot of these pre-rolls, they pack the shit out of them. Oh, yeah, they pack that. I mean, I get it. You want a nice, tight joint, but people, there's an art.
Well, there's got to be.
Loosen that up a little bit. You know?
It's got to be some travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to let a little airflow come through
Yeah.
here. But, you know, I guess it's better too tight than too loose.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah.
Dude, what do you want to talk about first here? You want to start off with TJ Dillashaw's craziness?
Yeah, I mean that's what
more than just a failed
everyone
drug
woke
test.
up Wednesday morning to that, you know.
Well, while I'm trying to get this joint going here, too, because it's hard to get a hit off this, why don't you recap what the people woke up to on Wednesday morning?
So Wednesday morning at about 7 a.m., TJ Dillashaw posts on Instagram that the New York State Athletic Commission has officially suspended him for a year due to an adverse finding from his test taken on January 19th this year.
Now, they say it's an adverse finding now instead of what the drug is because USADA changed their policy, and I assume the commission is following suit, right?
No, I don't think so, because they have complete different jurisdictions, so I don't think they have to follow any kind of rules or regulations that you saw.
No, you're right. They don't have to. It's just a courtesy thing.
Are they, though? I hope they don't, because
Anyways, he failed a drug test, is what it boils down to, and not
And
instead of
officially
fighting
relinquished
it,
his belt.
he officially relinquishes his belt. He issues that statement, gives up his belt, and doesn't say shit else, which has caused. I mean, just to lay out a brief scenario.
Wow, dude, this tastes really orangey.
That tastes super orangey.
Like
That causes most people to speculate, obviously, as to why he wouldn't fight it if it was something inadvertent that he took. Nobody knows for sure what it is except the drug test. People who can see that, but
I think that's in his favor though so far. Like people aren't going down as hard on him because no one really knows what it is. And there's been this narrative going around with a lot of these guys because he had moved down to 25. They think it's a diuretic, but why would you give up your title based on a diuretic test fail?
I don't think that holds water. I think you would only give up your title immediately like that if it was a fucking steroid. I hate to say it, but that was what makes perfect sense.
Well, here's the deal, too. And if it is a performance-enhancing drug, it's an automatic 2-year suspension from USADA, which nobody's talking about right now. Although he is being proactive and coming out and kind of owning up to it, which is cool, I guess. I mean, that's in the court of public opinion, it does something because it changes. You know, a lot of what's going on right now is all semantics too. So like, you know, it's like.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's just semantics because like he's gonna lose his title anyway.
He's gonna relinquish his belt. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like
he didn't come out and say what he failed for or anything.
Yeah.
It's just an adverse finding. I'm knocking pipes over here on the desk. Luckily that weed don't spill because I don't.
You're fired,
that
dude.
shit. Dude, this joint is hard as fuck to hit. Like seriously.
It's pretty rough,
Like,
but I like it. I like the
it tastes
taste.
great, but man, they rolled this
Tight.
We
got every single bit of that fucking. Every bit of that. I think it was like $13.
We get a fucking workout over here. Yeah, I'm still coming off that hernia surgery. I got to be careful. We've sucked this too fucking hard. I'm gonna bust something. I can swear. It tastes delicious though. That's good shit. But my lord, people. Oops. There you go. I'm gonna pass that back your way. So, and the way this affects two divisions is now because the UFC, they haven't made it official, but Dana's come out and said it's what he wants, and Dana gets what he wants 99 times out of 100, I'd say. And they want to do Henry Cejudo versus Sergio Moraes for the vacant title, Marlon Moraes, which for the vacant title, which annoys the shit out of me, just because I think there's contenders in both divisions. But as you have pointed out, Paul, it makes sense if they're going to disband the flyweight division afterwards, based on Cejudo winning, or maybe even losing.
Here's my theory.
Either way, if the UFC goes through with that and doesn't disband it, we've got two divisions that are fucked.
Here's my theory. So, everyone knows I like Henry Cejudo. This is beside that. If you were to hand Joseph Benavidez and Yasser Formiga, and you just put him at the main event of any pay-per-view, how many does it sell?
The UFC would never do that. They didn't put DJ in the headlining spot anymore. That's the whole
Exactly.
point.
And who did they put in the headlining spot? Twice. Already.
What, his fight against DJ?
And then what was the next fight? That was
The
also
champ fight against
and then
TJ
the fight
Dillashaw?
and then the fight before that was also main event on Fight Night also.
They gave it to the douchiest fighter, the new douchiest fighter around. He didn't used to be douchey.
All right, back to my
Dude, it's douchey to say you're going to save a division and then be like repeatedly say it and then be like, actually, I'm going to lobby for, because now his team has come out and said, we actually planned this all along to do this fight. Oh, so your Jesus of the division shit was just a gimmick.
Well, yeah, dude, this is about selling.
That's
man.
douchey.
Sure,
He's a good fighter. I know he's your boy, but I find that
whatever.
distasteful.
All right, let me go back to my theory, though.
Go ahead, your theory. So, yeah, they're not going to sell. Do you see if
So
Omega? Well,
everybody
he's not gonna
knows
sell.
that fucking 125 is on its deathbed. It's fucking sitting there, like just. And now they're asking. Now that TJ's out of the picture, they're gonna go to Henry and they're gonna ask him, "Do you want to pull the plug?" Which means, do you want to go to 35? And we're gonna put on a #1 contenders fight. Show how boring Yasser Formiga is going to fight. Make people not want to watch that anymore. and then you're going to move to 35. You'll fight for the title, and in the case of Marlon Moraes, I think he wins, and you'll be the 35 champ and wait till TJ is off suspension, or B, fight Pedro Munoz or insert name here. And 25 goes away like it was going to anyways. It's just done in a timely manner rather than continuing to fucking drive. Yeah, right, as of now. Like, it's taken so long, dude. It's been fucking bad.
Literally, why
Like, just end it already, is what I'm saying. Like, just end it, man.
Like, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying, and I'm just thinking, like, yeah, the UFC probably is thinking something like that.
Just end it
and
now.
I'm just like, why couldn't they just do this? Like, when they traded DJ, why did you have to parade us around with this bullshit?
Yeah.
It's taken so long. You
Or
bring
the
it out.
night, or the night
none of it
TJ
finally
versus
mattered.
Henry happened, no matter what,
Yeah.
because then if you put an incentive, you basically put an incentive in a contract, but then you turn the story on the fighter, is what happened. Because basically everybody knew before the fight was even made that, like, when the talks were saying that it was going to be at 125, there was talks 25 was gone. It was weird. Everyone was like, this is weird. And then when Henry went on Ariel and explained it, he said, I'm going to beat TJ, and then I'm going to move to 35, and I'm going to beat him for that belt too. And then once the press conferences started happening, the narrative changed. It changed into, although I understand that he ran with it. I agree with you. He ran with it, and it was a dumb thing to run with. He ran with being this. Yeah, I get that. That was stupid. But it also was kind of nudged into his way to kind of expand the story to make the pay-per-view bigger than it was. Really, when you look at it
afterwards too. But I mean,
100%,
he's
100%.
doing his fucking
but he
thing.
ran
I
with
don't have
it,
to like it.
and definitely to a fault. But at the same time, the UFC has continued to put him in these situations.
But I'll tell you what, the UFC, as much as I hate to sound cruel, after this, they better disband flyweight. Because let's say they don't. Oh, so now we've just held up 2 divisions now. Because if Cejudo wins, he won't be allowed to keep both belts. Nobody is. Not Conor, not Daniel Cormier. Fucking nobody is.
That's why I think they're going to disband it right after.
Cejudo. So if they don't, winner or loser, we're going to have somebody getting, if Cejudo wins, he's going to get stripped. And it's just
That's what I'm saying. It's stupid. So
fucking disaster.
What I'm saying,
like all these other champ fights have always been a disaster
also,
for the division.
Although I get what you're saying, like the whole savior, but let's just take a step back altogether. And let's say this was you or my career, and you're looking at what's going on at 25, the narrative you'd had to push to get it as far as it has, and you look at it as just like, yeah, I could fight at 25, but there's no future. If you fight at 35, whether it's against TJ Dillashaw or not, it still pushes your narrative forward.
Dude, I'm not gonna say I get if you're what you're saying is true that he did it just to promote the narrative and to make the pay-per-view view. I'm not disagreeing with that.
I think I understand. I agree with you too, though.
And I just find that a douchey thing to
Yeah,
say
for
because
sure.
you told all these other fucking fighters, like you were like, I'm gonna see, like after he beat TJ, he literally said, "This is for all the other flyweights, so you can come fight for a title." Like, okay,
Yeah, but at the end
if
of the
that
day,
was
it's
shtick,
not his
that's some
decision,
bullshit
though.
shtick.
It-
Really? Because he could come out and be like, the UFC offered me to fight for the 35 title, but I said, no, I'm here to fight for this division. I want to fight the number 1 contender, which is Joseph Benavidez or Formega. He could have said that, and the UFC could have still pushed his hand, but he could come out and say that shit. He could come out and be like, I said I'm the savior of the division. That's what I'm doing. And you know what? I would be like, damn, okay. That dude just doing what he said.
I see your point, but at the same time,
So, I mean, I get it on his point. I'm just not going to change my viewpoint that I just happen to find it a douchey move.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
But what's he going to do? Turn it down and be like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, he could do what I just said. He could turn it down and say, no, I'm going to defend my title because this division means something. Like I said in 37,000 interviews.
Then here's the deal, though. So what happens when you turn into Colby Covington then? Because what happens when they close the division anyways? They give someone else the fight. TJ is
Then
suspended.
he still gets that shine, but then he gets to move to 35 anyway because that's what they would do. The
that's
champ.
the thing, though.
Wouldn't he get an automatic title shot anyway as the
everybody-
champ of a disbanded division? And they said you got to move up to 35, but hey, since you're the incoming champ, here's your title shot. Probably.
It's happened in the past when people haven't fought for titles.
This joint, if folks listening, if you're wondering about our joint,
It's gotten better.
it's hitting fine now.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. Thank you for your concern.
But here's the thing, though. It's out of his hands. Like, I get what you're saying.
No, yeah, no, I agree with you. It's out of his hands, but how he chooses to play it in the media is completely in his hands. But hey, this is a guy who has Ali Abdul Aziz whispering in his ear.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Ali is also Marlon's manager.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Ali will profit off whoever wins that fight. He will get a nice fat 10% bonus no matter who wins.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Nice.
That's definitely why
It's
definitely happening.
You wonder why people think
Ali's gonna
shady.
negotiate with himself right now. Dude. He's gonna
Yeah,
be like,
Ali's gonna push the hell out of that fight.
He's gonna answer the call. Hey, tell him we want 100 mil.
Dude, he gets 10%.
He's gonna answer us on the phone.
first.
Hey, dude, tell him
That's
we want
hilarious.
150 mil.
Dude, that's the exact shit that the WSOF got disbanded. Like, they got caught with, like, he was managing half these fucking fighters. And then it happened in the PFL, too. Like, he made out like a bandit in that tournament. But we're not getting sidetracked into Ali. You want to learn more about that, check out Mike Russell. But, so what do you think?
Did you see him and Ariel going back and forth yesterday?
Russell and Ariel?
No. Ariel and fucking Ali.
Oh, did Ariel finally give him some heat? Or was it just bullshit?
He like threw
What
some
was it
shade
about?
About the UFC.
Ariel did or Ali? If you're wondering, Ali Abdulaziz is a manager, folks. If you're not sure who we're talking about here, he's a manager who's got a very controversial past, to say the least.
So he was like trying to flame. Oh shit.
Hold on while Paul looks up this Ariel Helwani.
It's because his show was today, so there's so many fucking.
Oh, he tweets 600 times when his show comes on.
It was last night though.
What was the gist of it?
Well, he like made a funny joke like about like I gotta show you. I can't explain. God fucking damn it. Sorry, motherfuckers.
I'm just gonna keep hitting this joint, man. Do my part to help out by smoking more.
I'll just look up Ali's account. Okay, here we go.
All right, we got it.
He tweeted at Ariel about because he said about the Al and Khabib fight. He said it was close, and he goes he said that he had anyone who says this fight was close and they don't know anything about fighting and they need to kick rocks. and then Ariel goes, "You forgot to change your account back to Khabib's, or are you talking to yourself again via multiple accounts?"
That's something he's often accused of doing.
Yeah, I know. And then
That's funny.
And then
and
then they like talking shit. He's like, Ariel needs to go to basketball. And he's like, yeah, Ariel loves basketball. And then he like tried to make fun of it and stuff. He's like, oh damn, I got caught again. And then they tweeted Ariel crying after Dana did that shit. And he was like, the internet is undefeated. And then he goes, You sure you wanna bring up old stuff found on the internet? I do appreciate you siding with your employer. I mean friend. Smart move. And it's a picture of Dana White. And then he said he pays our bills. And that's where it ended.
I wouldn't think that Ali Abdulaziz would be one wanting to bring up old shit.
Yeah, no.
A literal former terrorist informant. Like, appearing in
All right,
books.
let's move on from that motherfucker.
Anyways, yeah, enough of fucking that ass bag.
Let's go into Saturday's event, UFC Nashville, where Anthony Pettis pulled off one of the...
Anthony Pettis coming up.
Anthony Pettis fucking Showtime.
Anthony
again,
Pettis
bro.
coming up from 155,
He was
fight at
getting
170 against two-time title challenger Stephen Thompson, who he then promptly knocks out in the second round with a Superman hook punch.
You know what Anthony, although he did get beat up in there, he looked the most loose I've ever seen him.
Oh, he looked good. I mean, he's fighting.
Wonder Boy is
a hell of a striker. I mean, and there's ways to fight Wonder Boy. You can nullify that, but that's not how Anthony Pettis was ever going to fight him.
Think about this, though.
So it makes sense that he was getting beat up a bit.
Think about this, though. Tyron Woodley hit Stephen Thompson with that same punch. He hit him with that overhand right and couldn't put him out like that.
We did hit him with a Superman hook overhand right. Leap off the ground.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was pretty sick.
I think Tyron Woodley's overhand probably hits harder than that, and he couldn't put Stephen Thompson away with that.
Pettis did. Slept him. First time
Dude, you know that
Thompson has been knocked out in 80 fights.
Damn. You
80
know that
fucking fights, man.
You know Anthony Pettis, Conor McGregor, and fucking Kenny Florian are the only three UFC fighters ever win in 3 weight classes.
Yep. Conor McGregor welcomed him to the club, and Anthony Pettis promptly called for a fight with Conor.
Yeah. Which I'm down for. At 170, though. Yeah. What? You think Conor would do that?
I don't even know anymore.
I feel like Anthony would just try to sub him.
I'm just at a loss for Conor McGregor these days.
Yeah, I don't know. That could main event something, though.
Easily. He says he's in fight negotiations for July, but I don't
Dude,
it.
I heard Jorge Masvidal.
I heard that rumor, too. I don't believe that one either.
That'd be the perfect comeback fight for him, though. A guy who likes to stand and bang.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll believe Conor fights again when I see Conor fight again. I mean, he's saying some good things. Like, he came out and said some good shit about that Khabib fight the other day on Instagram, talking about, some reflection on it, and then fucking how he didn't take it seriously, didn't train hard, give him no respect, and paid the price. And that's shit you want to hear from somebody, you know.
It means he's looking himself in the mirror at the same time.
And that's all legit. Like, you're right. You look like he's talked about how we marched forward, and we've talked about that repeatedly on this show. After he had that good third round, and then his corner is like, quit fucking marching forward, and it comes out in the fourth round.
Just marches
forward like
gets
an
taken
asshole,
down.
and gets taken down and fucking pummeled out. It was retarded.
It was a classic. It was a classic version of what happens when you fight mad. You don't fight mad. You fight composed.
No respect.
This is not when things get as heated as they did in those press conferences and everything. Like you just can't. I don't know.
So he's saying things, but I don't know. We'll see when he fucking fights.
Yeah.
We'll see when he signs a contract.
But hell of a fucking win for Anthony Pettis.
Anthony Pettis.
Right when you think Anthony Pettis is out of it, man.
Says he's sticking around at 170.
Yeah. That's stupid.
Said he felt great.
So now that just throws another wrench in the mix. We'll have 3 guys possibly in the top 10 who will not fight each other.
Yeah, he's already said he won't fight Askren, but they wouldn't match him up with Woodley ever. I don't think anybody expects Anthony Pettis to be a title contender, honestly. I think that's what it is. He just expects some fun fights.
Dude, he jumped on the mic and said, I better be in the top 10.
Yeah, I get some fun fights. Who thinks he's going to go win the title at 170?
You can't, but still, who the fuck? He jumped on the microphone. Who goes into a fight saying, I'm most likely just going to stay at 55?
No, but he changed his tune just a prior test. To that, though. He said that early, but he changed his tune in the lead up to the fight. He said in multiple interviews. I heard in multiple interviews where he said that he really was enjoying this weight cut and that he was going to stick around for a while.
Yeah, but we were talking about
I texted it to you in the middle of the week. I was like, look, right here. He said now he's going to stick around.
Yeah, I just don't remember. I get high all the time.
What? You smoke marijuana?
Sometimes.
I'm sorry, folks. We didn't know.
Only on the days that end in Y. No, but for real.
There's a little bit on this joint.
It's kind of stupid. Yeah, no, that's
harsh. That was a tasty fucking joint.
Yeah, it was
finally killing that sucker, folks.
Fucking, I don't know, man. That was
a great fight.
That was a great fight, but where should he go from here now?
I think he should fight a fun fight.
Should fight Santiago Ponce de Blue.
I don't think Anthony's eyes deserve that poking. It's going to come from that. And Ponzinibbio, he wants to fight a contender, like a real contender.
Oh, and
Ponzinibbio. I have a hard time saying that dude's name. I feel like Joey Diaz saying Khalila Bob.
You know who he was talking about? You know who he was talking about fighting though? Anthony is talking about fighting the winner of Kevin Lee RDA, which was announced this week.
Okay, there you go. That's a good fight for him right there.
He was looking to fight the
Bunch of fucking
winner.
other blown up fucking lightweights. Right?
Yeah,
Fuck
pretty
it.
much.
These dudes do better not cutting weight.
And imagine RDA wins that, he gets that one back.
Well, here you go. Here ties into what we were just talking about earlier. Okay, we're talking about the flyweight division's killed. What goes hand in hand with the death of the flyweight division is the birth of the 165 division.
Hopefully,
which could be why a lot of these fucking lightweights are bumping up to 170 right now because they know.
Well, think about it this
that
way.
division's coming.
Think about it this way. Right now, who doesn't have a fight? Who's kind of the odd man left out?
Who.
Ben Askren kind of doesn't have a fight now.
Well, Dana's still pumping that Lawler rematch.
Yeah, I know, but
you can't force Lawler to sign. But
Yeah.
I mean, ask
Ben,
him to sign
yeah.
it.
But you know what I mean? Just think about who are the 65ers that are kind of left out right now? Pettis, Askren, Lee, RDA.
Yeah, all those guys are going.
They all are going that division, and they all got to a level are getting to a level at 170 where they get high enough, but then once you get to a certain level, the size is just too much sometimes.
Then, of course, that changes 170 to 175.
Yeah.
Which I think most of them. I mean, look at Woodley. He could easily put on another 5 pounds for God's sake.
Oh, fucking Usman, super easy too.
Even Askren.
Colby.
I mean,
I think Askren would go to 65 for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he wanted to, for some reason, stay up there. I mean, he fought heavier.
Khabib,
I would think. Khalil, as Joey Diaz likes to say.
maybe even a guy like Dustin Poirier.
Maybe, depending on how he does against Holloway.
Yeah. Even
They're
Max.
saying Conor might get the winner of that fight. When is that fight?
Or even Conor at 65 wouldn't be a terrible idea.
No.
Just don't fight Ben Askren.
I wish he'd just fucking train and fight. Did you hear Artem come out and say that Conor has not left SPG? He said that there's fucking SPGs all over that he's training at, and just all these guys have gone out and opened gyms, and just because they're not at Kavanaugh's doesn't mean he's not on Kavanaugh's team and all this shit.
Maybe that's what Conor said to them. But he's doing a whole lot of other shit.
Well, he's certainly been at ATT for like 6 weeks now, 8 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. And he's just training down there. So I mean, don't get me wrong, you can definitely go to other gyms and get working.
That's another thing, speaking of him fighting again, that's something you want to see. Like, I would like to see you do that, actually, Conor.
You can definitely go to other gyms and get working, but I don't know if he'll have that same respect for John Kavanagh because he's gone other places and seen, or maybe even more. He might have even more. But I think testing the waters is not a terrible idea. I mean, it causes a little unease in like the room, but if you end up back with SBG, I mean, I don't think they're gonna be like, no, don't come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do think we could see some different people in his corner though this next fight.
That would be very telling if he was cornered by another crew.
Not like a complete different crew. I'm talking like maybe not Dylan Dennis, maybe not Artem. More maybe some of the other ATT guys that have taught him some good shit. Like I heard he's going with some dude who's a good wrestler.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Like, his name escapes me too, but I read the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of breaks down a little, a tree of Anthony Pettis and his win and where that might lead to in the 165 and some other things. But what about the other half of that fight, Stephen Thompson, who's now the man had 80 fights between kickboxing where he never lost a fucking fight.
He's
and
what,
MMA,
35?
80 fights with including 10 rounds with Tyron Woodley and never been KO'd, and he was fucking slept.
Maybe a.
He's big. He's what, 6'1", 6 foot. Yeah. 6'1".
Here's the thing: he'll never go to 85 because Chris Weidman's there.
Yeah, that's literally his brother-in-law. He's not gonna.
I don't know, man. It's tough. It is tough.
Because he's coming off 2 losses now. Did he have a win sandwiched in between Woodley and this?
No, he lost to Darren Till.
Yeah.
Well, he beat Jorge Masvidal, lost to Darren Till, and then now he lost to Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
Dude, but here's the thing, though. He still looked great, and he just got caught.
I mean, I know what you mean, and I know what people mean by that term, but it makes it sound like somebody was just winging blows and one snuck in and slept him. But no, that was a planned attack that a motherfucking was set up by low leg attacks.
More or less, though.
Like
More
Anthony
or less.
Pettis is striking. Like, trust me on this, dude. Anthony Pettis set that whole blow up by leg strikes. Like, that was a calculated move. It wasn't like at the spur of the moment he was like, "Now I'm going to do this." He set that up.
Sometimes he
expecting
does
the
do
leg
shit like
attack.
that, though.
And he even confirmed this afterwards in the post fight shit. Like, that was a planned thing. He set it up with leg attacks. That was a very calculated
He was getting
move.
pieced up
It
the
wasn't
way
like
through,
he did
though.
some fucking like some lucky punch slipped in. Like, that was an attack. Like, people say that about Connor's win too. Like, oh, he just got the lucky punch. Like, no, he didn't. He countered a blow quickly.
Yeah, but that was
Like,
that.
getting caught means you lost the fight. That's like,
Yeah,
I just
100%.
got caught in a submission. Like,
Yeah, 100%. I understand.
it's like it belittles the action. Like, that was a good fucking blow. And what happened was Thompson got caught slipping.
That's more or less what I'm saying.
You know, it wasn't like he got caught with a lucky blow.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He got caught with his hands down. is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he made a mistake and paid the price against somebody like Jose Aldo. He made a mistake and
Yeah.
paid the price.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you can't count out Anthony Pettis, man. Just when you think this dude,
He was
like,
getting
'cause he was
fucked
getting pieced
up,
up.
though.
Yeah, there was no joke. He was bloodied.
He was bloodied up.
He was eating a lot jab. I mean, he was winning. He was scoring too, but he was not scoring near as much.
Yeah, it
as
was like
fucking
it was like
Stephen
3 to.
Thompson was.
I think it had to be like 3-1 punch count. Because it was like Thompson would come in, hit him with a combo, and then he'd like catch him on the outside or something like that. Or like he'd come in, he'd catch him coming in, but then Thompson would hit him with like 4 punches, and then he'd pop out. Like he
And
was
he
doing a
laid
lot
the
of
trap
popping in,
and
popping
fucking
out,
executed,
and I
man.
think that was his undoing though, because I think Pettis timed that popping in, popping out, and then stuck him with that overhand.
That was
super
sick.
hand-
If
super
you didn't see
overhand.
it, folks, you should
I don't know.
Google that shit.
At first,
man.
I thought he kicked off the cage. I thought he was doing that, but he just jumped in the air.
Yeah, he just really jumped in the air
He's got.
and did a hook. Instead of, traditional, most people don't really hook quite like that on a Superman punch. That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a really sick punch.
Dude, can't do nothing but be happy for him, though. I
Yeah.
mean,
It makes him
guy
5 and
who's
5 in
been
his last 10.
guy who's
and
been
gets
through
his
the
name-
fucking ringer,
yeah,
though.
Gets his name fucking out of the...
Who's been through the ringer as far as opponents. He's fought everyone. So it's good for him to get a win like that.
Yeah, it's a great win over a legit welterweight.
Stephen Thompson also has beat Robert Whitaker, who is the 185 champion. So I think
Yep.
Pettis should just move up to 85 and challenge Whitaker.
I was thinking more like 205 to challenge John Jones after that shit.
I mean, I don't really want to talk about his fight, but as predicted, your boy Violent Bob Ross misses weight at
Oh, dude, I
fucking
knew he would.
145.
That fucking guy.
He ends
pissed
up
me off,
winning the
man.
fight, but I mean,
When does the fighter who comes in heavy ever lose the fight? Have you seen the stats on that?
that's
It's
true.
a ridiculous
It
stat
is,
where there's actually
yeah.
an argument to be made that it's worth it to miss weight,
Yeah.
lose the 30% of your purse because it's that
because you
much
could
of a
win
fucking
fight of the
advantage.
night. Yeah,
Yeah, motherfuckers. It's like the last 10 or 12 in a row.
Yeah.
The last time I looked at that shit. And
Yeah.
fucking his ass comes in and do it again. And I mean, I liked that guy, but he's just pissed me off. I just think...
Well,
it's a
here's my thing: is dude,
fucking
you're 6'2",
stupid move,
man.
man.
Like, why are you cutting down to 45? Why don't you go up to 70?
Yes,
Like-
that makes total sense.
And why are you moving weight classes anyways? Are you that insecure with your fucking ability?
For
because you
real.
lost one,
Lost
you
one
lost
fucking
one
fight.
split decision fight.
Against a legit dude. That Trezano kid is a legit fucking
Yeah.
fighter. They're both young in their careers, and he just thinks he's going to get that much of an advantage by going down to fight these
That's
fucking teeny
crazy.
tiny little fucking
Crazy,
goddamn
crazy.
featherweights.
6'2"
Can you
weighing
imagine him against like
145.
Chad Mendez?
No
fucking
way.
5'2" ass in there.
Yeah, dude, no way.
Fucking no, he's like 5'6", but you know what I mean.
Still.
Still, the guy's a
It's
guy
fucking
with skin
ridiculous.
and bones at lightweight.
Oh yeah, dude, you see him when he got off the scale at Wayne's, he's like,
And he missed by a
like,
lot.
dude, he missed by 3 did he miss by 3.5?
2.8, I thought 3.2 something.
I don't know.
Either way, we all.
Oh
knew
wait,
it was
yeah,
gonna
because you get the
happen.
pound allowance when it's
Yeah,
a
you get the
non-title
pound
fight.
allowance, so 146. He missed 146.
Yeah, so he missed by
the-
2.5 pounds, but he missed 45 by 3.5.
I knew he was going to win, too, because I was just like, oh, well, that's it, because they always fucking win.
Yeah.
It's like the thing now. I swear to God, that's the bet you should make. If your dude comes in overweight, you should run to fucking place bets. I swear to God. The odds are really in your fucking favor.
Yeah, fuck.
I sound annoyed. That dude, I didn't like some of the shit he said in recent things, and then I just really didn't like that move, man. It just seems to me like, I don't want to call a fucking cage fighter a pussy. It just seems like, I mean, they used to give Conor shit for picking on fucking featherweights being so much bigger. That dude is so much bigger than Conor McGregor, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's definitely like a little, like he's super bony dude, but at the same time, move up.
I was watching that fight. Did you not think that his head was too big for his body when he came out and you were watching that fight? It looked fucking bizarre.
It's a bobblehead, dude.
He did. Like, he's so fucking scrawny, and then the fucking fro and the beard add to the giant head effect. It was crazy. I wanted to call my kid out and be like, look at this dude's giant head. It's crazy. But he won. Now he comes out, and so his argument is going to be, fuck you, I came down and I won, although you still didn't make the 45 limit. You have yet to fight at featherweight. Yeah. Just for the record. You didn't win a fight at featherweight. Yeah. You want a catchweight bout. Yep. It's a fucking catchweight fight.
And just bouncing around, we saw fucking Curtis Blaydes get a dominant win.
Oh, for our folks listening on the radio, we've switched up. Now we are smoking this sugar cookies.
Oh, yes.
With some keef layered in the middle.
There we go.
Yes. Sugar cookies is a heavy indica, too, so I'm like a sleepy here. But
yeah, like I said, dude. Curtis Blaydes getting it done, bro.
Curtis Blaydes getting it done against Justin Willis.
Fucked him up.
Yeah, he did. And then talked a lot of shit afterwards, too. Did you hear why? He said Willis disrespected his dad.
What?
Yeah, he was like, it was all fun and games until, like, he said something, I think it was at the weigh-ins or the face-offs. He said some shit that disrespected his dad, and that's why afterwards he was like, get the fuck out of here, big titty. They called him Big Pretty. He called him Big Titty. Fucking, yeah. Get the fuck out of here and go learn to wrestle, big titty. Like
that's what he said, yeah. That shit was funny.
That shit was funny. That's some shit to say to somebody who you just, like, some of those scores, it was like a 30-25.
Yeah.
30-26.
He fucked him up, dude. And they knocked him down on the feet, too. Curtis Blaydes.
It was kind of boring if you're not into wrestling, which, I mean, I appreciated it, but I could see where casuals might be like,
Curtis Blaydes fucking killed it, dude.
He did. Fucking murked that motherfucker.
Yeah.
What'd you get talking shit about my daddy?
Yeah, for real.
Beat that ass.
For real. What a savage.
Yeah, man. That was I like Curtis, dude. We've had the pleasure of meeting Curtis a couple times. He's a cool dude. He smokes some weed, although he tries to keep it on the down low now. I think he still smokes. But good to see him get back in the win. Call him after the Ngannou fight.
Yeah. Dude, if you look at it, he's undefeated in the UFC if he never fights Ngannou.
Yeah. No,
he has 2 losses against Ngannou.
That's crazy. The only man to beat him is Francis Ngannou. And it's really not saying much. You can't take shame in getting knocked the fuck out by Francis Ngannou. Like,
nope.
Oh. That's like, oh.
Yeah.
That sucks for you.
It's tough.
I understand.
Yeah.
You get it.
He's one of those big heavyweights, though. You know, he's like a...
Dude,
he's got
giant,
like that.
Man. He picked your girlfriend up like she was
yeah, that was funny.
Like a little doll.
Because she is. She's small as fuck.
She is small, but when he picked her up, it was like, wow, it's pretty funny.
It was like a circus picture, dude.
Whew. Just hit that keef, making me cough like a motherfucker over here. Oh, damn. Well, what's next for Curtis? He called out, he wanted to fight.
I think JDS is a good fight for him.
Yeah, there you go. JDS is a good fight since we know Cormier is eventually going to have to give Stipe his rematch, so that makes sense because the Brock fight ain't never going to happen. Did you see Brock just came back in some WrestleMania? I did not see, but I already saw some article about it.
Did you see that Daniel said...
You can use this. It's not plastic and won't melt like that likely will.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Daniel Cormier said something?
Yeah. He said he's
something corny and silly? Tell me.
No, he said he's going to show up at WWE and try to start some shit with him to get him back into MMA.
Oh, my God, please. Yes, tuck your fucking T-shirt into your sweats, hike them up to your armpits, and walk in there. Please don't.
Man,
I'll let you fight
I'm going to be honest with you. fuck you, man. That's the style in wrestling.
And this is the United.
I mean, not pulling your sweats as far up as he does, but I'm talking about how he puts his socks on the outside of his sweats and tucks his sweats in his socks. That's a wrestling thing. And then tucking your shirt in, that's a wrestling thing.
He's the kind of guy that would do that in a jersey and some jeans. Like he would wear a football jersey and some tight jeans, and he would tuck his jersey into his jeans.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, not that.
He would do that. He would do that. You know he would do that. He's that guy.
I'm talking about like the shit he wears, like weigh-ins and shit. The style he does, that's that's wrestlers. So fuck you, dude.
And it's boxer style to mock that quite a bit for its corniness.
Dude, you walking in robes.
Pimp robes, son. Fucking badass names on the back. Shit. All right, man. So what do you think about that? Did you see Maycee Barber's fight? There's a little bit of talk about that girl, man.
Tough, man.
Dude, JJ Aldrich, she was a good young
She's a seasoned
too.
vet.
She knows how to fucking fight. That girl's no joke. Like, she's much better at 125.
Yeah.
And Barber she's the youngest fighter in the UFC right now. Women's
She said she wants to be the youngest champion ever.
Wants to be the youngest champ ever. She's pretty strong, man.
Yeah, she's tough.
She fucking
she's
took
a grinder,
that girl's
dude.
Punishment. She ground out the fucking win and then fucking knocked her silly. That was good.
That's the first fight she basically did that too. I mean, it was a lot quicker.
She's got some grit. Like she made it through some
she's
actual
tough,
like taking some shots. Like Aldrich was lighting her up a bit.
She's what, 20?
Yeah, she's 20 years old, man.
Yeah.
Like just turned 20.
Damn.
Probably.
She wants to be a champion quicker than John Jones. What was that? 22.
I think he was 21, but it could be 20. It's either 21 or 22. I thought it was 21 in 9 months.
Might have been.
I could be mistaken.
I think it was like right before his 22nd birthday.
Yeah, it was right at the ass end of it.
But yeah,
way.
how crazy is that though?
Dude,
John
she's
Jones.
pretty tough, man. John Jones.
John Jones is like 30-something. He's still champion.
I know. But she's looking good. We got a good contender right there for that shit.
Volkan Ozdemir and Alir Latifi are fighting on June 1st card.
Ooh,
with
some breaking news.
With Anthony Lionheart and Gustafsson. That's the co-main.
That's
it's a good little setup.
Yeah, they got a lot of European fighters there, except Lionheart going in there, of course. But
did you?
I like Latifi, dude.
I mean, I hate to go off topic, but I mean, we should just dive into this a little bit real quick. Did you see Lionheart's interview with Errol Hawani after that fight was announced with Gustafsson?
No.
He said he didn't even want that fight. He said his wife convinced him to take the fight, that he wanted to spend time with his family. He's fought like 9 times in a year in like 8 months or some shit like that or whatever he did. And that he didn't want that fight at all, and he actually wanted to go on vacation, but his manager came to him with it, and his wife convinced him to take it.
Well, that's not what you want to hear a guy saying.
I mean, kudos to him for being straight up, but
yeah, appreciate the candid response, but
it's not what you're looking to hear.
That's not what you should.
If you're looking to buy or you're looking to watch that fight night, and you heard that, be like, oh wow,
dude, that'd be like, damn. Well, I hope he's also quite the veteran though. I'd hope maybe as he gets into training camp, he can put that aside and fight. But damn, that ain't selling the fight, brother.
Well, remember when he lost to Jones, he said he wanted to take a year off.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That dude's. I mean, he might be a fresh name for people, but he's got 41 or 2 fucking fights. That dude's been around the
he's got a
block.
shitload of fights.
And he just got a fat check. Deserves a vacation.
Yeah.
Did 5 rounds with the greatest of all time.
Yep.
Shit. Take your break. That's a weird thing to say, man. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah. You should watch that later on
I'll
today.
check that out this week, yeah.
And if you're at home, watch that shit too. You'll see what I'm saying. But, yeah, there's some good little light heavyweights getting some action, man.
I like it, dude.
I like it as well.
That Latifi Ozdemir fight's actually pretty sick. The more I'm just digesting that, because like
it's a must win for Ozdemir, though.
Dude, Latifi can fight, man. He's got hands. He could sleep Ozdemir. Ozdemir's got to win that fight. Although, I mean, he didn't really lose too much shine after the Reyes fight. Even though he lost, most people feel that he won. So
and Jimmy Manawa and Alexander Rakic is another fight that's on that card too.
I'm not sure who that guy he's fighting is.
Yeah, I think it's a back on track for Manuel.
Well, he
He's
could use
lost
it.
3 in a row. He's not looking to lose 4. You know.
Yeah, he could use a get back on track.
I thought Ozdemir did
Sure.
too, and I don't think Alir Latifi is the way to go for a fucking get back on track fight. Alir is a fucking legitimate fucking. You know, he's a gatekeeper for sure, but
Yeah.
he will put it on you if you give him the chance. You know, like he'll put a fucking beat
Dude,
down
that dude's
on
got thunder in his fucking hands. He'll
Yeah.
fuck people up.
you, for real.
That's a good fight. I like that shit. That's shaping up to be a pretty good card, man.
Hell yeah.
Well, what about next week's card? Let's talk about that for a second, man, because that's
Hell yeah.
the main event right there. Justin Gaethje versus Edson Barboza.
That's gonna be a war.
55 pounds.
It's gonna be a war.
Wow.
It's gonna be a war, but let's see. You think Gaethje uses his wrestling?
I think that it's very important that Gaethje wins this fight.
Think so?
He needs to remain relevant in the top 5. And
He's
if
got
he can't-
one fight left after this,
If
right?
he can't beat Edson Barboza, then I don't know. I appreciate his warrior mentality greatly. And I've met him too. He's a cool motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a Gaethje fight? Fuck, I was
Yeah.
watching him in the WSOF all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, but if he's going to remain relevant, yeah, you got to beat Barboza, so don't go too wild and get like KO'd. And do exactly what you just asked, which is use that wrestling just a bit, man. You got
Yeah.
them skills, bro, and that's Barboza's weakness. Not that you can't outstrike Barboza; he probably can fucking eat that shit all night and fucking dish it out. But you could just wrestle him a little bit and ground and pound him into oblivion.
I don't know. Gaethje doesn't.
Why risk
ta-
it? Why risk
Gaethje
it?
can take a punch, but I don't know if he can take a kick.
Yeah, I don't know about them spin fucking kicks of Barboza's,
Yeah.
because Barboza will probably launch those if he's not worried about the fucking
Exactly.
wrestling.
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that Gaethje employs a bit of the wrestling, continues to fight as he wants to fight. Just mix it in a bit, man, please, and get the for sure win instead of the maybe split decision loss or fucking KO. I mean, he said it himself. I heard in an interview. He said Barboza KOs me 2 out of 10 fights, which is a pretty honest assessment for a fighter to make. Most of them would never admit such a thing.
Yeah.
Like, he KOs me in 2 out of 10 fights.
That dude keeps it real.
Yeah. It's like, wow, that's a hell of a mentality to take. Maybe you should just use them, get wrestling skills you got a little bit. Win 10 out of 10.
2 out of 10 fights. Jesus Christ.
But that's a sick fight, dude. I really like it, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
It's a good fight.
excited
It's
for
gonna
that
be
card.
it's gonna be a war.
There's a lot of good cards. Your friend Josh Emmett's fighting on that.
Yeah, he's fighting Michael Johnson.
Yeah, that's a good fight too, man. Michael
Good
Johnson
fight at
always puts on a
featherweight.
good fight.
Michael Johnson going back at featherweight, you know.
Yeah.
Emmett though is coming off that injury to his orbital.
Right.
See how that Michael Johnson he can take a punch or two, so
Michael Johnson's got a chin. He
he's
can
tough.
fight.
And he's got hands to throw back too, so
He's no easy out for any fighter, but neither is Josh Emmett.
yeah. And I mean, people don't know, but Josh is a high level wrestler also. He's kind of made his name in the UFC off his hand now after that Lamas fight, and then when his fucking hand got fucking kicked off, you know, he's got a few knockouts in the UFC now, so it's kind of like he's been kind of known for his hands more. I think in a fight where Michael Johnson's not the best on the ground, I think he could use some of his wrestling as well to neutralize Johnson and beat him up on the ground.
I think that'd be a smart move. He's got good power in his hands.
And
but
you know,
Johnson's a pretty
he's
good
training
striker.
with all those guys in that like Northern California region in Sacramento at freaking Alpha Male. All
He has
those
a
guys
history
are
of
high level
wrestling,
wrestlers.
like with your brother, wasn't it?
Yeah, my brother went to college with him.
Yeah. And he's been training out at Alpha Male.
Yeah, he
Which is a
trains
big
at Alpha
wrestling
Male, which is
heavy
like
team.
all wrestlers, straight wrestlers. So
I'd imagine that Michael Johnson's going to have his hands
he's gonna have
full.
his hands full for sure.
I think he probably, in my prediction, just off the top of my head, would be Emmett wins that fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna
If
take
he-
Josh.
As long as he doesn't get into a striking only battle, which he.
I
mean, he's
think
got
he
hands.
might. Yeah, I
He's
think
got
he might
hands.
be able to though, because he got into a striking only battle with Jeremy Stevens and put him down twice
I
and
know,
almost
it's
finished
crazy.
that fight.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
I think honestly a lot
Right.
of he can put it on a lot of guys in the top 10. I think it's a coin flip with him and a few different guys. Like Jeremy Stevens has beat everyone, and it was basically a coin flip with those two.
No, it
So, I
really
mean,
was.
he has the skills to fight with the top-level guys. I think this fight with Michael Johnson's going to be a measuring stick for the UFC brass to, like, see where he's at. Because they saw him against Lamas, and then he knocks out Lamas, and then fights Jeremy Stevens, and then kind of falters a little bit. So now you give him Michael Johnson, you see where he's at after that loss.
It's the perfect gauge for him.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Michael Johnson's kind of become that fighter, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, but good for Josh. I mean, obviously, with the
Well, and then
connection to
also
your
you gotta
family, we're
think, too.
fans on this show, but you know.
And then also you got to think, you got a guy who in your camp who just fought Michael Johnson 2 fights ago. Andre Feely just fought him.
Exactly.
So you got to think they already have the blueprint set out on what to do against this guy. So I think as long as he sticks to the game plan, he comes out with the win.
You know, speaking of alpha male, kind of vindicates them a little bit.
Oh, a
with
little
this
bit.
TJ
Yeah,
Dillashaw
dude. They
shit,
were
doesn't
fucking.
it?
Did you see fucking Cody Garbrandt put the fucking Kermit the Frog like
Yeah,
fucking teeth thing?
that was fucking.
They
Those
called
dudes
it. Man.
had, yeah. I mean, they were saying he was on the juice back in the day.
You know who this probably tarnishes the most is Sam Calvita, man. He's been
This
talking.
guy,
He's been
yeah,
talking all this stuff about how great. I mean, I
They
hate to
just
do
did
that.
that
I hate to do.
podcast
I hate to
with
do that
Rogan.
with him though. No, he didn't do it with him.
He didn't do it with that guy.
No.
Well, he sure talked about his.
He talked.
His
Yeah, he
fucking-
talked about him, but
how
he said,
he's
yeah,
dialed
yeah,
in with
yeah,
his nutrition and all that with that guy, and how he controls every little thing that goes in and out of.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, unless it was a tainted supplement or something, that kind of puts.
So that circles us back down. If it was a tainted supplement, why wouldn't you fight it, man? Save
He is
face.
going to arbitration still. He just.
Is he? We'll see, man. I don't know. I hate to fucking be like, oh, it's steroids.
Yeah, it's
but,
tough.
But man, it just
It's hard
you
not
know,
to,
hearing you
though,
talk
at the
about
same
mentioning
time.
alpha male with Josh Emmett just made me think about those guys because he
They
had the last
called it,
laugh.
yeah.
And now they kind of
Now they've had the real last laugh.
they got the.
Right.
Yeah. That's fucking rough.
Because
dude.
think about it this way: TJ Dillashaw is, if it is a performance enhancing drug, he's looking at mandatory 2-year suspension from USADA.
Yeah.
2 years. So he already has the 1 year already, and the $10,000 fine from New York City Athletic Commission. That was already handed down. So you think he's gonna try to fight that, or can he?
I don't think so. I don't think he can fight anything.
Yeah.
You can fight USADA in arbitration, I guess. Who knows? It's so tight-lipped now. But
Yeah.
anyways, alpha male is probably
They
still
called it, man.
whistling, happy over that. Fucking made their month. But you know, back to this card next week, this Philly card. We got another good fight with Michelle Watterson.
Oh yeah, Carolina Kovacevic.
Yeah, that's an important fight
It's
for
important.
Carolina.
For both of them,
Both.
honestly. Michelle puts her right in that title picture, and then Carolina just got fucking starched by the fucking chick fighting for the title. So it's like, this is a big fight for her.
Big fight. Good fight, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good measuring stick for both of them.
100%. Michelle Watterson's always just been in that mix ever since Ultimate Fighter. And she's never really gotten her big break yet. So this could be big for her.
This could be it. They're doing some features on her on ESPN. I've seen. She's a great story. The UFC should.
She's
fucking
plastered all over
embrace
the
all of these
Reebok
women.
brand as well.
And yeah, she's an official Reebok. She's sponsored officially outside by Reebok too.
Yeah.
She has a special deal as far as I
Yeah.
understand it, which would make sense. So that'll be another good fight. So I'm looking forward to that shit next weekend.
Hell yeah.
So we'll be going over that. But I guess that wraps those up and probably brings us to
Fighter who smokes.
our fighter who smokes. Hell yes.
All right, and this week it's gonna be former UFC fighter Kyle Kingsbury.
Kyle Kingsbury. He fought at 185. Isn't that
205.
correct? 205?
205.
He's a little bit bigger than I remembered. He's a muscular dude. I thought he was cutting a little more weight. He's always
Yeah.
been a bit of a character.
Yeah, he was an Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter alum.
Yeah, he's fought.
What, if I remember-
he's fought the who's who of people in 205.
In the Ultimate Fighter, didn't he lose?
He lost all 3
going
fights.
in? But then, like, he lost, but
He
then
lost,
he came back as an
and
alternate.
then came
right?
back as an alternate. Got a fight, lost that fight, and then the Ultimate finale, lost that fight, and then was still signed by the UFC, won a couple, and then lost to Stephan Bonner. Then he fought.
He used to come out in some pretty crazy outfits prior to the
Yeah.
Reebok days.
Oh yeah.
He's a pretty entertaining dude. But he smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah. Actually, doesn't smoke as much. He's more. He says that he's more of like he likes to like eat edibles and do like other ways to get high. He said just because he likes to preserve his lungs for his conditioning and stuff. Well, I mean, at the time of fighting, obviously.
Sure, that makes sense.
He said he was like an avid CBD user. Really, just like he did this big interview with Herb Magazine or Herb.com or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
They had just pretty much said everything every activist has been saying. You know, just like that. It's helping focus. When he was fighting before, he would have to take about 3 to 5 aspirin a day.
Yeah,
and
3 to
would
5
get stomach.
ibuprofen.
Yeah,
I think it was saying, which is terrible for your stomach.
He said he was having
Advils,
really bad
yeah.
stomach problems and switched over to CBD, and he was eating the CBD like gummies. He said it was helping him out a lot, and that he would like smoke different strains, and like he would go to like dispensaries and get different strains to see which ones give his body the best effects as far as like recovery, and then also like waking up and being like not groggy but like fresh. You know what I mean? So
which is something you can do, folks. You can really dial in your fucking marijuana.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
like,
just It's not just the same. I mean, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But
well, it's just like alcohol. Think about it like alcohol.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the same drunk from a beer as like any.
Yeah, you're
like
not going to
a bottle, you know,
and drinking some. A gin drunk and drinking a couple beers are not the same thing.
No, it's not.
Although it's both technically being drunk.
Yeah.
But weed is kind of like that in the way there's just a wide spectrum of ways it can affect you.
Yeah.
And Kingsbury sounds like he really had his dialed in.
100%.
And that's something you can really do. Like that's what I do. I do that same shit out here. I mean, there's certain strains that I know affect me certain ways that I buy whenever I can find them. 100%.
Yeah.
It's something I want to experiment around more with. I want to take a few different strains and just start blending them together in some joints for us to fucking smoke on here.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
And see how that goes. There's a guy named Big Mike who's he makes a line of nutrients that's pretty well known in the industry. That he's got a line now of pre-rolls that are just that. They're called Big Mike's Blends. We don't unfortunately have them here in Nevada. They're in Cali right now, but he's blending like different strains together in equal amounts for its effects. So it sounds pretty dope, and I'd been thinking something along the same lines. I want to try that shit.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
Kingsbury sounds like he's dialed in, that type of thing with his body, and that's awesome. Just yet another example of a fucking high-level athlete who's a steady user of cannabis. Be it, and I think he said he smoked at night because to go to sleep.
Yeah, to go to sleep and shit.
If he's not in fight camp, and definitely an edibles user, and just another
dope.
example of fucking how cannabis can fucking and athletes can go hand in hand.
Well, yeah, it's better than any other pills, all that
pills
bullshit.
and all this other drama, man. 100%. I was off at the same thing, and it's good stuff, man.
100%.
Right on the Kyle Kingsbury.
Yep.
Probably wraps up our show for today, right?
Yep.
It's a good episode. Looking forward to next week's fights.
100%.
We're gonna keep smoking on this fine herb we got here. Hope you're smoking on something good, folks, and you can catch our show. WBUZ 95, it's Thursday nights, radio.net or the Orange Radio app, 6 p.m. here in Nevada, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Of course, we are on YouTube for video. We've got audio on iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. And where can they find out more?
SWATMA.com.
What else can they get there, my friend?
If you go over there and you click the gear button, you can go and buy a t-shirt and support the motherfucking podcast.
Thank you, folks. We appreciate everybody for listening. See
Later.
you next week. Peace.